So today I have with me Amrit Kaur and Jassy Kaur Panji from Ajdinewz, and I'll just hand it over to you guys. So could you guys first, Amrit Kaur Panji, introduce yourself and then explain your Sikhi journey?
Okay, it's always Jassy going first, but I'll go first this time. So that's his name's Amrit Kaur. Um, well, my journey's been a little bit different from everybody else's. Like when I was little, I'm actually born and raised in India. So in India, like we were really into like all the Gurmat stuff, going to the Gurdwara Sahib, doing like the Starbandi competitions, all these things. And then when I came to Canada, there was like a little bit lack of Sangat. So that kind of like not lack of sangat, I guess we didn't know where to go, and that kind of like pushed me away from my Sikhi. Like there were many like Singhs, but there were rarely any Bibiya that looked like me, so that pushed me away a lot. But then after that, in second year university is when I actually found like Gursikhs, like Bibiya actually, that wore like the star or that looked like me. And we're in Sikkim like a different way, not the way that what we usually see is like, go to the Gurdwara Sahib and just go to the Langar Hall, just do Matha Tek, sit there and come back. It was like literally exploring what Sikhi means, bringing the values of Sikhi within our life, which is what changed my perspective. So I met a lot of Gursevak Sevadars, so that's students of Bhagavad Jaswant Singh Ji there. And that's where I got encapsulated by Sikhi, because it was such a totally different like new world and new perspective that Bhagavad really teaches. If who's ever done their sangat, that's never been like you don't really see that, like you rarely see that. And that's what really pulled me into Sikhi. So that was about like 5 years ago, and then that's just like the start of the journey, and the journey never ends.
That's lovely, thank you. And Jasvinder Kaur Panji?
So I was always born and raised in a Sikh family. So since I was young, we would go to Santhia, go to Kirtan class, government camps. Um, so I do think I had a great foundation. However, I didn't know how to experience Sikhi and fall in love with it. I didn't go on the path myself yet. And even though I was raised in Sikhi, there was a few years where I kind of like just left and I did like Yesan Libya and I did whatever I wanted. But then in high school, I ended up meeting Experience Sikhi, which they were known as SYF at that point. And this was my first time meeting Sikh youth that talked about Sikhi in such a different way. It was not really like, oh, we just do part, like we just follow that and Maryada. It was like, oh, what do you think Guru Sahib's talking about in this Pankti? And they were in conversation, like as we were talking, they would start referencing Gurbani. And I was like, wait, like Gurbani and Sikhi is instilled into every single part of their life, that even if they're talking about a comedy show, even if they're talking about like going outside to play, they're like, oh, Guru Sahib says this. And I'm like, wow, like they're finding Guru Sahib in every single thing. And that really, really grew my Sikhi and made me fall in love with it, especially because they're also not judgmental. Because I grew up in a Sikhi family and Gurdwara was like we probably went to the Gurdwara like 3-4 times a week. And I always felt like I had to keep my hair. I had to follow Sikhi. So it wasn't like, oh, I want to. It was because I had to. But here, like, nobody judged me for the fact that, oh, I did my eyebrows or I removed my hair. They were just like, oh, and then Guru Sahib said this. And I was like, oh, so they don't even care if I look like a Sikh or act like a Sikh. They just want to tell me about Sikhi. And through that love, I started to fall in love with Sikhi and decide on my own that, hey, I do want to follow this rat. I do want to follow the Panchkakars and take Amrit and like be Guru Gobind Singh Ji's daughter. And it came to the point where I was like, I can't breathe anymore until I can say that I am the daughter of Guru Gobind Singh Ji.
Thank you. That is so lovely to hear, because I personally, and I know a lot of other Bandia can relate to just feeling like, oh, I do my eyebrows, I don't know if I'm good enough, I don't know if I can. And we make these excuses for ourselves. But I think that's quite beautiful to hear your journey and to hear that you weren't judged at all. And I feel like that would be encouraging for someone to take the step if they were hesitant. So now my next big question is, when and why did you start Ajdinewz? Because I'm a big fan, so perhaps explain Ajdinewz and then either of you can take the floor and just let us know what it's about and how's it going.
So we actually, we've been thinking, well, me and Amrit have known each other for about 2 or 3 years now. We became close in the last 2 years, and we were just talking about how Babaji, like Bhagat Jaswant Singh Ji, they've always been like, get more bibiyan, like collect as many as you can, teach them Santya, like I want there to be more BBM representation in Sikhi, and there's a lack of it. And they're like, I can't do it because I'm a Singh. BBM will only bring BBM in, right? They're like, I can teach you as much as I want, but again, you guys will bring the most in, right? We began to think about it, and I actually made my own private account public first, and immediately, like, I made it private again because I was like, oh no, this is way too, like, I don't want to show my private life. And then we finally decided that, hey, we're going to make a public account with both of us. And it was kind of like a safety net, knowing that there was two of us there. Like if I wasn't able to understand or answer a question or anything, Amrit was able to, or the vice versa. So that was one of the big reasons why we started, just so we could literally network with as many BB as possible and get to know them.
You know, when you initially started the account, did you feel like you received any negative feedback, or did anything that deterred you? Because as you guys are saying, it wasn't like an account where it was information. You guys are putting your faces on these accounts. So was there anything that you just felt like, oh, this is not for me, or someone said something and it put you off?
So it was actually really, really good, Prasad, because it was like literally 99.99% positive. Like we've gotten so much love. There's like one, like very, very, very little like negative, but whoever had that negative, it was mainly due to misunderstanding. And because instead of us going to the fact that, they're judging us, or like, let me push back, or so, like the fear of like being judged or putting ourselves out there, even though sometimes we did get pushed back, we were able to communicate with that. The beautiful thing is, one time there was this negative comment, which we wanted to share. We won't share the comment, but it's like, we were really sad about it. And then we asked Pagaji, and Pagaji's like, it's okay, just do Kima and keep going.
No, that's very beautiful. So would you say that's just kind of, so Sikhi kind of just helps you, so that's a big part of your life that's helping you like push forward through the negativity, like even when you might have doubts, but you have other singing that are always re-encouraging you. I think that's very nice to hear, because I know it's harder, or I'm assuming the people we've spoken to, it can be harder to live as an Amritari, especially as a Singani, in the public eye, because people always have opinions. You know, you can never stop opinions, but it's nice to hear that you guys had reassurance. But did you ever think at any point that this would have got to as big as it is now? It's got like 3K followers. So how was tracking the journey of Ajdinewz?
We had no idea. Honestly,
we don't even know what's happening.
Yeah. Every time like it goes up, I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Like that part is like, it's Maraj Kirpa. It's like, so much Sangha blessing us, but it's also another Kirpa. Like Sikhi gives you that base. Like it's like, okay, don't get your like,
don't get
hankar, get your ego up. It's just like, Maharaj is like, because Guru Sahib brings different people to Sikhi in a different way. And even when we are sharing these things on Ajdinewz, it's like, we try to think like it's not us sharing, it's like we're just sharing Guru Sahib aap hi bula rahe hain. They are themselves speaking in their own way, right? Guru Sahib has many rang, anek hai phir ek hai. They have many rang, but then again at the end they're just one. And that's like kind of like something that we try to keep in our head.
Speaking of Ajdinewz, specifically, it's roughly been only just above a year, right? And it's grown exponentially. So do you think it's because of the content you're posting, like going through Ajdinewz, it's like relevant news, it's happening right now, it's relevant to our community, might not always be relevant to our community, but it's like, how can we as Singani and Sings just even help? Do you want to just talk about like what the stuff you put on Ajdinewz is, first of all?
I think the biggest reason why is because like this platform, I don't think it's for us. The platform is literally for others. Like the stories we share, the things that we connect with are stuff that other Gursikhs go through, or other Gursikhs have shared with us. And we're like, that's cool, let's share. So it's literally an expression of other Gursikhs, and it's like we're putting out so many different things that we just pick up every single day from like different people. Like sometimes just a bibi walking on the street, where like this yesterday, just Kaur was telling me this bibi goes for a walk every single day. I'm like, whoa, we should do that. We should get fit like them. Like no matter if it snows, rains, anything, she goes for a walk. And just
she's like 80.
Yeah. And we're like, so then we share that. It's like go for exercise. Bhagat Puran Singh Ji used to exercise. They're just making, so it's literally, I think for us, I think it's because it's Sangat's platform. So Sangat is sharing and connecting.
Yeah. it, like, even like when we started a series called like the Sharda series, so that one was pretty, that's exactly like Amrit Kaur was saying, like exactly what we see from Gursikhs, we pass it on because we're lucky enough to like live in Toronto where there's like so much sangat and so many different types of sangat that we constantly are learning from them. But a lot of people may not live in a populated area that has a lot of Sikhs in it, so maybe this is a way that they can just watch and learn, oh, that this course does this, because half of the stuff that we put in the Sharda series is not stuff that we just were told, like this comes in that and this comes in this Pothi Sahib, right? It was just things that we saw other Gursikhs show their love through Sikhi in this method, and we're like, okay, we really like this method too, and we're gonna adopt it, and now let's share that with other people. Maybe they'll like it too. Like,
and like the struggle stuff, I think like sharing stories and topics, these are really close to our heart because some of these struggles we've actually struggled through and are going through. And at that point when you're going through those struggles, we just like, you wish that somebody would have just said that it's okay to go through this, it's okay, we got your back, we're here. And like, I think another reason for Ajdinewz platform, like the content that we put, is like we want to show that, if nobody else is there to listen, Good Prasad will be here to listen, right? We're here for you. And just like that, providing, because Sikhi people encapsulate it as something like judgmental, something rule based, but it's so much bigger than that, that it can't even be expressed. And it's like something we want to put out there, like, no man, Sikhi is so much more than what may seem to the eye.
And like one thing that as the year has gone by, whether it be through like being asked questions through Gursevak or even questions through Ajdinewz, one thing I was just telling Amrit, I was like, how come every time somebody asks us a question, they begin with, oh, I'm so sorry, or I'm so embarrassed to ask this question, or only like, they're so scared to ask questions. And I'm like, what did we do as a community?
I was scared too, though. That's the thing.
I was as well. And I had to really meet some open-hearted Gursikhs to be able to be like, oh, they won't judge me for having this question. And thankfully, I'm hoping that because we're getting a lot of questions through Ajdinewz or through Gursevak, that shows that, we're trying to be like more open as a community. But sometimes it makes me sad that so many people ask those questions, but they always will begin with, oh, this must be a stupid question. Oh, I'm so sorry for asking this question. I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, why are you embarrassed?
Like, or like, you don't have to answer it.
Yeah, like, I'm like, we're here for you. Yeah, we're here to
not
answer your questions.
The whole Sangat. Because Guru Sahib is in the Sangat.
Yeah.
Right? Mera Vaid Guru Gobind.
Yeah, Guru Sikh Guru Hai Ego Guru Upadesh Chalai too. Like, yeah, Guru Sahib's constantly, and it's not like when people ask us questions on Ajdinewz or wherever, sometimes we don't respond in 2 days. We read the question and then we contemplate. We think about it, we go to Gurbani, we go to other older Gursikhs, we go through Sakya, we think about, okay, what did they say? The thing is,
letting ourselves in their shoes.
Yeah, like getting as much as information as possible, because I think even with the fact of us showing our struggles, it's gives other people like, oh, Khalsa, like, oh, I'm not the only one who struggles with this. Other people do too. And that's why we use Sakya, because then we go like, oh, we're not the first Gursikhs to deal with this. Gursikhs in Guru Gobind Singh Ji's time were struggling with this. Gursikhs during Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time were struggling with this, right? So it gives us a little bit of more like, we're not the only ones.
So going back to the question, I think the biggest reason for our content is it's connectivity, because us as humans, we like to connect, we like to share, we like to be heard. And I think the greatest thing to connect with for any of us is always like Gurbani Ji. And this is just hopefully Maharaj Kirpa providing that platform to explore together.
I 100% agree. I actually love this. I know you guys are apologizing, but I actually wanted to know where you got all your sources, facts. Like, how do you answer questions? That was actually something I was wondering, because I'm sure you must get crazy, weird, and wonderful, beautiful questions. And it's not always easy to know. Ikadam, you won't know straight away, but it's nice that you do research and it's not one source. It's not just the internet. It's people, the internet, books, kitaba, whatever it might be. I think that's very nice to hear. Another big question I had for you guys, I was just wondering, was there was, as you said before, there was a Sharda series. I also saw there was a trash series. Like, there's better ways to treat the environment. So how would you say that tied in with Sikhi? Because Ajdinewz and you two are Benjia, you're Singhania. How did you trying to clean the environment have to link with Ajdinewz, and why did you think it was important to share that?
Well, I think like sustainability, regardless if you're in Sikhi or not, is something that every single human being should be accountable for. And that's just because you're a resident of the earth, and so you have a responsibility to serve the earth, right? Just like how we live in our house, our parents, like, they serve us through giving us the house, and so we serve them through, you know, cleaning the house, getting an education, so in the future we can help them. Same way, like, we have to serve the earth back, and we have to protect the earth. So I think even if you're not a Sikh, it's your responsibility. But we just started, well, we actually recorded the sustainability podcast last year. It just never came out. We're working on it. But we started off with one pankti that I remember Babaji taught us, like Bhagaji taught me when I was really, really young, and I was Bina santokh nahi kohu raja, which pretty much means that without contentment, you're never going to be satisfied, right? And when I think about Sikhi, I think about very minimalistic lifestyle. Somebody who lives in Santokh doesn't really care about having a lot of money or clothes or even food. Sikhi, like, from all aspects, is very simplistic, minimalistic. And so since Ajdinewz is a Sikhi page but goes through our everyday life, I thought that, hey, we need to show this part of our journey as well. And that was one big part of why I think it's important for Sikhs to understand that we need to be consuming less, because one of the biggest reasons we have so much waste or anything is because we're indulging in everything. We want more food. And so what happens when you want more food? You have to get more packaging for your food. We want more clothes. Well, then what happens? You have to pay a bunch of labor people, usually who are children, and you're taking advantage of them. That's not cool. You have to pay for a lot of shipping to get all these clothes from these third world countries here. That's carbon emissions. You have to pay for the actual cloth. Like, jeans take like 50 liters. One pair of jeans take 50 liters of water to make. That's a lot of waste, right? So in every aspect, us consuming more is us not having santokh. And then that ties right into Bina santokh nahi ko raja, that how are we going to be content with Guru Sahib if we can't be content with materialistic things?
I think another thing is with sustainability, right? This is the ultimate goal for me, at least, right? Everybody's on their own journey. Is like, if we look at Nyang Singhs, they literally live with like two bane. They have two like bane, and it's the same color. They literally have like two kashare, one in their kamar kassa, one they're wearing, and they like always eat in sarblo, right? And sarblo doesn't break, glass always breaks. And if we look at the earth, we say that Maharaj is everywhere. Jale hari, thale hari, ura hari, bane hari. If Guru Sahib is everywhere, then how? Imagine Guru Sahib laying down on the grass. Would we throw garbage on them?
Very true.
No, right? Guru Sahib is in every single kirnka, and just seeing it through that lens, it's just like ekta, like you get nimrta too. You get garibi. You get, when we clean, like I see so many like little tiny insects. You get garibi, that it's so beautiful. How many little tiny insects that we don't even see from the eye, that we just walk by. We mindlessly go throughout this world without actually observing Guru Sahib's creation.
And you know what's crazy? Like, I just thought about this. When you go to the Gurdwara Sahibs in India, one thing Guru Sahib all continuously blessed the Sangat with was like water or like trees or plants. Like Hari Ambela, Guru Sahib literally threw like a little seed and it grew a tree. How many Gurdwara Sahibs, Bear Sahibs like that?
There's a, like, even when it's not amba season, mango season, amba still growing.
Yeah, like Guru Sahib could tell that, you know, like we need the earth. The earth doesn't need us. The earth gives us oxygen. The earth gives us food to eat. The earth gives us water to survive.
And the earth has so much nimrta. No matter
and
how
kima.
Much, no matter how much you step on it, it gives back.
Yeah, no matter how much you ruin it, it's always still going to provide for us. So 100% I agree. We have to.
That shows Guru Sahib's daat as well there too.
Yeah.
Denda de lande thakke pahe.
No, I really liked it because surprisingly enough, I've actually not seen it on many of the Sikhi pages because the focus is on Sikhi. But I think this is just a true, like, you're a slave to the Guru, not the Gurus, but as in just a higher power. We're all slaves, right? We're all servants. That's how we're meant to be living. And it's just so beautiful to see sustainability talk, recycling, all of this, because seriously, we need to be taking care of the planet. I don't know if you guys have seen the David Attenborough videos, but they scare me. And I want to make sure that we can keep care of our planet for as long as we can. But another big topic that I saw on Ajdinewz that I really wanted to discuss today was to do with self-defense, right? Physical strength, and how you guys believe it ties into Sikhi and why you guys express this on Ajdinewz.
Well, one of the biggest like things we learned from Aviji that really stuck out to both of us was without being physically fit, your mind is not going to be stable, and your like it goes hand in hand. Your mind and your body go in hand. Mind, body, soul, they're all connected. It's very vital to every single thing. And if we look at Itihas, bro, like I just want to put this out there. If we say that 1-6 gonna fight with Sawa Lakh Fauja, if our body's not built to that and we're not tiyar, how are we gonna do that? Right? I didn't mention Singh or Bibi, I said Sikh. Because Maharaj ne bhi kiya ye Sawa Lakh Sikh. Like Sikh Sawa Lakh na laduga. Right? Sawa Lakh se ek ladaun tab Guru Gobind Singh naam khaun. They didn't say Singh or Kaur. They said Sikh.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't even say Sikh in that. They just said Sawa Lakh se ek ladaun. That every single person, right, should be physically fit. And to be able to defend themselves when, like, I think from learning self-defense, I've always wanted to learn it. But now that I'm learning it, I feel more empowered. I feel like I can do something.
It's also like the fact that why did Guru Sahib give us a kirpan then?
Yeah.
Like they didn't just give us a kirpan for show. They gave it to us because they're like, there's a bunch of like police officers and army people. There's already people out there who have weapons that are supposed to protect us, right? But none of them have taram. And that's why Guru Sahib made the Khalsa, because they're like, you not only will have to know how to fight, but you need to adopt taram, daya, sahib, himmat, mokam, and these virtues will be how you will protect. And I just think as being Bibiya, with the amount of violence that happens in the world, it's our responsibility to know how to defend ourselves.
Yeah.
The first step, like we of course is raising awareness and changing people's mindset, but living in such a world that we are, we need to take up tools. Like look at my pagodi, man. She was like
we 8-foot basha, like guns, like
they were really strong. And these Bibiya inspire us to be how and who we want to be, like physically fit, be able to run, be able to compete, be putting ourselves out there. I haven't seen one Amritari, like I was just telling Jassy yesterday, I haven't seen any Amritari like or like any like Sikh Bibi like in like national fighting.
Yeah. No. Just like even like the one championship that just happened last week, that was Arjun Singh Puller. That was the first like Sikh fighter in like nationally, and it's not like he wasn't like somebody who had the style though, but he was still a Sikh, and that was so amazing. I can't wait till that gets ahead.
Like when back in the day when there were like jungs and stuff, people would be like putting up bets because they're like, you can't defeat the Sikh, right? They would be putting up bets against Sikhs, but Sikhs won every single fight, no matter how small or big they were. Right? They were like they train in combat, train in like wrestling. They will be able to run. Their pagti was like next level.
Yeah.
Like all these things go hand in hand, right? And it's like right now, at least I can't say anything about anybody else, but I look at myself, I'm like, yo, I can't even run a 5K without running out of breath, which is like something I'm working on. And it's like, that's something that we gotta do. Bhagat Puran Singh Ji, till their last breath, used to walk at least 8 kilometers every single day. They did not get on any like vehicles, like cars and stuff. They used to walk it or go on a bike.
So what would you say, what advice could you give any Bandia or even Virjis listening today? Like what is the first steps to take towards being able to be physically strong? Is it good diet? Is it exercise? Is it including Sikhi as well? Is it waking up doing Path? What's going to give us that strength? How do we take these steps to go forward?
I think just start with taking a step, right? Like no one like is born and it starts like walking. Like it takes you like a year to start walking, and you have to fall a bunch of times. And you also have to take the support of your like mom and dad, and they like walk with you, they hold your hand, and then you crawl, and then you start holding onto a wall, and then from there you start like walking a little bit and falling again, right? I think that people always assume that, I will never get to that point, so what's the point? It's like, but you have to start. Like no way are me and Amrit at all fit to the way that we want. but at least we started. And the thing is, like, even with showing our journey, with the fact that we're completely beginners, kind of gives, I hope, other people that, oh, like, you know, we're also at that point too. Because sometimes you go on these pages and they're like all like ripped and like super strong, and they're like, I'm like, I can't do that.
But if you look at it, even those people are like, I can't do what the next person is doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the biggest thing with this is like, what we mean by take a step is not like, oh, I'm gonna just start ripping weights, all these things. Do what you like. For example, I love playing soccer, right? So once, like twice a week, I just go to the park by myself and I just start shooting. That's my way of getting some cardio in.
Yeah.
Right? So if you like skipping, if you like walking, if you like swimming, if you like yoga, if you like whatever, like whatever you like, just take that step towards some type of movement.
And it doesn't have to be boring. Like, my workout schedule is like 2 days a week I do like lifting, then 2 days a week I do yoga, then the other ones I do like mobility and stretching, and then another day I'll do biking. Like, I change up what I'm doing because I'm the type of person who gets bored, so I just change around what I'm doing all the time because I don't like doing the same thing again and again. Gursevik Sevadar, like the YouTube channel, like they are going to be coming out with more at-home workouts that everybody can follow along with.
That is so good to hear. That is actually very good to hear, because I think it's more accessible then when it's online, less excuses, because I know I make 1,000 excuses before going to the gym. But
we have a gym and job class for kids in BBI if you want to join that.
Yeah, Wednesdays, 4:30 to 5.
Is it online? Where is it?
It's online. So we do 20-minute like workout gym, and then 10 minutes Gurbani job. It's every Tuesday, 4:30 to 5.
Is it Bibia only, you said, yeah?
Bibia and kids.
Oh, okay. That's very
Sorry, Sings. You can go figure out something soon.
I'm sure there'll be something for them soon. They already have a lot.
Speaking of lifting, as you mentioned earlier, you know, with an Amritari, or perhaps not even being Amritari, maybe just personal life decisions. If one was a vegetarian or even vegan, you know, there's loads of diets going around these days. What foods should they have to be able to lift and stuff? Like, what would you guys recommend?
We pretty much follow a whole food diet, which is like what Babbali says. So we eat a lot of dala. We eat like hand-milled chakki atta. So all of our atta that we eat, we get kernels and then we grind them at home. Any possible way where we can, anything that doesn't have that many ingredients on it, that's pretty much what we like. If there's too many ingredients on a package, we're like, I have no idea what this means. I can't read it. I don't want to eat it. The least ingredients is kind of how we like try to go with it. Pretty much a lot of dal, and that's just because, and a lot of spinach for iron, and that's just because of vegetarians, you tend to have low iron.
And try, like, if you can, try to eat in sarblo.
Yeah, eat in sarblo. Drink more water. Yeah. Like, we have our water bottles with us every time we go anywhere as well.
And I don't think like Gur Prasad till this day, it hasn't caused any problem. Like naturally Punjabi people are like, we're like in this diet. Other stuff just doesn't suit us.
Yeah, like look at India. Like I think like a huge percentage, probably like 80. I don't even know. I don't know the percent. Don't like quote me, but I think everyone there is like vegetarian. It's very hard to. So it's like built in our blood to be vegetarian and still be really strong. Like everybody did kheti there. And doing kheti is really hard. Like we all have like little gardens in our backyards, and that takes like so much energy. And they did like so many acres of that, so they were very strong and they were vegetarian.
Yeah,
and that's just the last generation.
And the strongest animals in the world are vegetarians.
Oh yeah, animals. Rhinos.
I did not know that. That is a very good fact. That is so cool. Thank you for telling me. I'll tell that to people next time they tell me I'm a vegetarian and not strong. So thank you for that. Moving on to the last question. I know loads of Singhs and Singhnias, Banjis, Vujis, they face a lot of difficulty because pressures of fitting in with society and societal norms, and therefore they feel like they want to look like the people they see, and they're not necessarily expressing themselves through Sikhi. They kind of just take a few steps away from it. But even though they want to like be closer to Sikhi, they do want to practice it, but they just think maybe when I'm older, maybe this, maybe that, not right now. How can we encourage those Banjis and Vujis to take that step towards Sikhi?
It has to be like your relationship with Guru Sahib. Like in the end, no one else can tell you how to live your Sikhi. And if they are, that's a little scary because people can come and go. right? And I've seen it happen numerous times where, you know, your connection with someone breaks and then that person's Sikhi connection breaks. But if you connect straight to Guru Sahib through their Gurbani, through their Sakhiyan, through their history, then you build such a strong connection. And this isn't to say that Sangat is not powerful. Sangat is the most powerful thing in the world. And we can see that through COVID, that a lot of us are struggling like we've never struggled before. Because God Sangat Sach can't have. You really, literally, Guru Sahib is there in Sangat, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, if your relationship is only the fact that you're relying on someone else to connect you to Guru Sahib, maybe you need to like look at your Sikhi again and be like, maybe it should just be me and Guru Sahib. The link should just be one.
I wanted to like another aspect on this. If I was listening to a katha, right? For example, so there's two aspects I'll touch on this. One with what Jaswinder Kaur said. So I was listening to a katha. They're like, when in a time where it sings were basically hunted down, but there were so many people still being blessed with Amrit. That was because the Singh's Jivan was so strong that just by seeing a chalak of them, just by seeing a glimpse of them, people were influenced, because that's how amazing their Gursikhi was, that just by seeing them. So we are walking, talking Prachariks. That's like one aspect. The other aspect is the values we put out in the world, the person we put out in the world. Like, for example, Sikhi has such beautiful values, right? I try to focus on, because that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to become a Mara Sarup. How do we do? By tar. First step is like trying to tar, and like we're bringing those little values in our life. For example, Daya Karni, right? If you're like a genuinely nice person, always caring for other people, and then people are gonna be like, yo, how is this guy or girl always so nice? How is this individual so nice? And then you move on to the next part. Like, they see, oh, you're a Sikh, oh, you get your values from there, oh, then they connect further. They're like, okay, then what does Sikhi actually say? Then you go to Gurbani, then you go to Sakhiyan, right? The first step somebody will encounter you with is your values, how you approach them, how you speak to them. Are you approaching them with like a non-judgmental aspect, or like a judgmental aspect? Are you being open with them? Are you giving them airspace? Are you encouraging them? Are you empowering them? How you make the other person feel will basically reflect how they connect with you. And then they're not really connecting with you. At the end, they're connecting with Guru Sahib's Gunas. They're connecting, then they're gonna, from there, they're gonna connect with Gurbani Ji. They're gonna connect with the Tun. They're gonna connect with the Tiyas. Whatever aspect is literally, at the end of the day, one thing I've learned over the years, because I used to like force my brother, like, yo, why are you not like me? Right? But I learned that, yo, everybody's on their own journey.
Yeah.
And
like
you just gotta build your own.
thing.
They're struggling with their own things. You gotta build your own Jivan. You gotta do your own thing. And if somebody likes how you are, then Ovi Maharaj di kirpa hi hai. That's Guru Sahib. Yeah. Right? It's because at the end of the day, even those gun that we taught, and they're not our gun. Where are we learning them from? They came from somewhere. For us, they came from Guru Sahib. Right? Nothing that we like put out there is ours. Sara kuch Guru Sahib to hi honda, so at the end of the day, it's just them.
Very true. Very true. Thank you so much, girls. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking today. I have learned so much from you guys. As always, for anyone listening, if we have made any mistakes unknowingly, unintentionally, please forgive us. We're always learning. We're always here for critique and feedback and improvement. Thank you so much for your time. And Amrit Godbanji, Jassy Godbanji, would you like to let them know where they can find you?
So you guys can find us on Instagram at Ajdinewz or at Gursevak Sevadar, gursevak.com. Yeah, pretty much.
And download the app, learn Shuddh Gurbani.
Yeah, if you guys want to learn Santhya or anything, just message us on Gursevak Sevadar Instagram or Ajdinewz, and we'll connect you and we'll figure out a class.
There's many Santhya classes, Vichar classes, Pothi classes, gym classes.
There's many. Yeah.
Whatever you want, we're here.
Yeah.
Talking classes.
Yeah, literally.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru
Ji ki Fateh.